Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles. This is going to be a review today. Today we're reviewing $5 Wrestling's All Gimmicks Needed Internet Pay-Per-View. We'll go right into the review. If you haven't seen $5 Wrestling, it's a little bit different than what we're used to. A little bit strange, a little bit weird, a lot of bit awesome. So we'll go right into it. The setting is that every match was a gimmick that was recommended on Twitter to the bookers at $5 Wrestling, which set up the matches we have. First match, Mr. Sleaze Eric Thompson versus Dynamite in a loser wears a dress and takes Polaroids with the fans at the intermission. And it gets added that since Caleb Conley's not there for commentary, they have to wear the dress and do the commentary, or the commentary, not commentary, ring announcing for the night. Dynamite picks up the surprise win after a great showing from Eric Thompson, a guy. I thoroughly enjoy Eric Thompson. I think he's right on with the gimmick. The Mr. Sleaze character is awesome. He does a Mr. Sleaze show that you can watch on YouTube. That's pretty funny stuff. The guy's got it going. I think he's on the cusp of something special, and we're about to see it. I think this is his first time, I believe, in $5 Wrestling, or the first time I've seen him. I didn't get to catch Freight Train's $5 Christmas special yet. I will. I just haven't had a chance. I was very busy during that time. But I think he's a guy that can move up and be one of the stars of $5 Wrestling. He definitely has the fit and the gimmick. And the best thing about it is 30 seconds into the show, we see a great friend of our show, one of my own personal friends, the lovely Laura Lyons, from the podcast Live from the Armory. She hands Eric Thompson some baby oil to put on before the match. Little piece of trivia: the first voice you hear on every Heel Heat video is Laura Lyons saying, "Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time." I just love that, so I had to add it to my show, which also added to this. She was in attendance, front row, not necessarily center, but you got to see her several times throughout the show. Good friend of ours, good friend of the show, very big supporter. It was fun. I knew I got my $5 worth within 30 seconds of the show, seeing my friend on there. And seeing this match was really solid too. Now next up, we have our Vince Russo shoot DVD on a pole match. Really fitting, isn't it? Vince's DVD, everybody knows he loves the on the pole match. We have Storm Maverick versus Samoa Joe versus King Jeremy Snaker versus the Green Machine. Samoa Joe and Green Machine wrestle outside for the entire match. Neither one tries to go for the DVD. Storm Maverick and King Jeremy Snaker wrestle in the ring. Hit a combination of about 50 DDTs and pile drivers. King Jeremy Snaker kept doing his Undertaker impression and sitting up after every move. A fun match, really awesome way. Probably better than any on the pole match that Vince Russo ever made. The first things first, the DVD stayed up there. They taped it down with duct tape. It didn't come down till Storm Maverick pulled it down. I thought this was a good match. I thought it highlighted everybody's specialty. Samoa Joe looked like he's a monster in $5 Wrestling. You know, just some good stuff, good clean American fun, which is what $5 Wrestling's all about. Next up, we have a mask versus mask match, American Idiot versus One Horn Liger. Now, I'm very partial in this one. One Horn Liger is one of my absolute favorites in $5 Wrestling. Something about the whole gimmick and his style I really, really enjoy. It makes me pop as a mark and a fan of the guy. Unfortunately, American Idiot won, so One Horn Liger had to unmask. I don't know how they're going to handle it going forward, if he's going to come out as a new character, or if One Horn Liger just puts the mask back on the next show and ignores this. A decent match. One Horn Liger hit a weird senton rolling leg drop near the end of the match. I thought it was a good match, good solid thing. probably out of all of the gimmicks, one of the most traditional is the mask versus mask gimmick. Now, next up, we have one of the two matches of the night. I say two because there were two matches that I think were right on the level with each other. This one was the Lego-filled Pinata Death Match. We got Colt 45 versus Little Donnie versus Mike Levy versus our good friend Hardcore Terry Houston from the Burke County Boys. Awesome match, awesome showing from all the guys. Mike Levy and Colt 45 put on some great wrestling. Little Donnie stepped up his game. Terry Houston, though, much like the crowd in attendance, the star of the match was the guy that everybody came and chanted for, and that's Hardcore Terry Houston. His bandana Lego headbutts were amazing. Terry is a guy who doesn't get the respect he deserves. He's probably one of the most entertaining wrestlers in the indie scene right now, and not just $5 wrestling, all over the world. The guy is an absolute great deathmatch style wrestler, good wrestler in his own right. Don't take that away from him. Don't think he's just the gimmick guy that has to do death matches. Really good, solid wrestler. However, he's one of the guys, kind of like the Necro Butcher and Madman Pondo, Masada, which guys he's all wrestled and beat recently. Terry Houston's moving up the rankings to being one of America's top proponents of the deathmatch style. And if you know him, if you see him on his Twitter, on his Facebook, really down-to-earth kind of guy. He puts up pictures all the time. You don't even have to watch the match to see how violent they were. And this was no exception. Terry picks up the win with the superplex on the cutlery diorama that they had. He introduced thumbtacks into the match. He introduced the Legos in the match. Altogether, just a great, fun match. Hardcore wrestling, mixed in with comedy, mixed in with guys that know how to do it well. Puts on a great match. Now, next up, we have our second Burke County Boy match. JC Steele versus Pork Chop Cash Jr. in a 2-pack challenge. The winner gets two diet sodas. It was supposed to be 6, but 4 people no-showed the show. In a surprise, after Pork Chop Cash Jr. controlling most of the match, JC Steele gets a pickup with a roll-up. I would like to see Pork Chop Cash win. Like I said, I'm a Burke County Boy fan. I think they're the most interesting group in $5 wrestling in the ring. I think they're all really solid. I love what they do. They keep my interest all the way through. JC Steele's good, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against the guy. Just my preference would have been Pork Chop Cash Jr. picking up the win. However, we can't all win. The one really cool thing is on the way to the match, Pork Chop Cash actually mentioned anger is a gift, which is really funny. It's something, I actually have a tattoo on my belly that says anger is a gift. And I don't know if he got it from the same place I did, but I got it from the Rage Against the Machine song, Freedom. If you remember the song Freedom, there's a break in the song where it goes silent, and the singer, Zach De La Rocha, pretty much just goes out and whispers, anger is a gift. And that's where I got it from. I thought it was really cool saying. Kind of fit my attitude at the time. A little bit, not so much more, I'm not as angry as I was then, but still fits what I'm all about. Maybe Pork Chop got it from the same place. I'd love to hear if anybody knows where he got it from. If it's the same thing, that would be really awesome. Again, yet another reason why I love the Burke County Boys. Next up, we have Raider Rock versus Red Solo Cup in a stepladder match. The stepladder didn't lead to anything. You just got to use it for a weapon. Weird ending with Raider Rock putting Red Solo Cup on top of him. Almost kind of seemed like it was a FU to $5 wrestling a little bit. I don't know if that's how it was supposed to go. I don't know. I know Raider Rock, he's a little bit strange. I listened to a podcast he did on a friend of ours, a friend of our shows, the Mass Tweeter, had a podcast at one point that was it was Raider Rock and Jeff Hart together, you can tell Raider Rock's not all the way there. A little bit of a weird match. The weird ending threw me off a bit. But still, good on the show. Probably one of my least favorite matches on the show, to be honest. But still, not nearly as terrible as some of the matches we see on other wrestling shows. Next up, I mentioned it earlier, I had two matches I really enjoyed that pretty much tied for my favorites of the night. And this would be Jeff the Hitman Hart versus the $5 Wrestling World Champion, Big Donnie. And this had 2 out of 3 falls. First fall, first man to get the 13 chops in a row. Yes, folks, that's an actual stipulation. Big Donnie picks up the win after dominating the fall. In Big Donnie fashion, he puts an ass whooping on Jeff Hart. The second fall is a first time ever in the history of wrestling, first man standing. Now what it is they both laid on their back. The first man to their feet gets the win. Jeff Hart picks up the win. If you've seen the guys before, Big Donnie is a very large man. He's a great wrestler. He moves extremely well for a guy of his size. I've mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. Something about Big Donnie reminds me of the late great John Tenta, who everybody knows as either Golga, Earthquake, the Shark, different things he's done over his career. Big Donnie reminds me so much of him in the style that he wrestles. He's just a great wrestler, and he's a great proponent and a great world champion. That leads us into the third and final fall, the Body Slam Challenge, which obviously, to anybody watching, Big Donnie wins. Big Donnie, before and after the match, calls out Cliff Compton, and it looks like I've seen it on Twitter as confirmed from Cliff Compton. We're going to get it straight out of Compton 2. If you didn't see it before, one of $5 Wrestling's best shows to date was straight out of Compton with the main event Big Donnie versus Cliff Compton in a match that's not for the squeamish. Matter of fact, I haven't done so as of yet. I'm going to go back and review that at some point and put it on here so you guys know how good of a show that was. And up until this show, that was my favorite $5 wrestling show. And this show is the one that actually took that over. Big Donnie picking up a solid win. Jeff Hart shakes his hand afterwards. Big Donnie tells him, if you step out of line again, I'm the guy that'll give you an ass beating that you need. Which is what you want from your champion. Loved the match. Like I said, I love Big Donnie. I like the Burr County boys. They're great guys. They're great wrestlers. They have a lot of respect for the business, and they have they're just fun guys. Like I mentioned before with our friend Laura's show, Live from the Armory, and before that, my friend the Masked Tweeter had a show called the Internet Wrestling Express. Both Big Donnie and Terry Houston were guests many times on both of their shows. Amazing guests, great guys, great stories. You can hear it when they talk, how much they love the business, and you can see it when they work, how much they love wrestling. Now coming up last but not least, our I Quit grudge match, Freight Train versus Jake Manning. Former best friends, now best of enemies. Freight Train and Jake give us all they can have. I thought it was a good match, really solid. If it didn't follow the Jeff Hart Big Donnie match, I would have probably thought it was better. But really solid match with two of your absolute stars. Freight Train's the absolute, they even say it on the show, he's the John Cena or Hulk Hogan of $5 wrestling. Jake Manning, he reminds me, and I mentioned this to some friends before, he reminds me of a silent movie villain, where his mannerisms and the way he moves and the way he talks and the way he acts just give me that vibe that he doesn't even need to say anything to tell a story, which is amazing. He's a great wrestler, great behind the scenes guy, tells a great story, has a hell of a match with Freight Train. I Quit match, only trumped by the other two matches. How solid of a card was this that you have what on most shows would be the best match is the third best match. That's how solid this was. And the best part of it is, whether you watch a video on demand or you buy the DVD, it's only $5, folks. But awesome match. Freight Train picks up the win. Jake Manning quits, or Jake Mandy, or Jake Manning, however you want to say his name. Freight Train picks up the win, gets his retribution, tries to shake Jake's hand afterward. Jake walks away. Keep it heel, keep it real. But now that we're done with the card, let's go into our rating system. For the All Gimmicks Needed Internet pay-per-view, you know we have a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, and we're going to say it in dollar signs this time. I'm going to give a $5 Wrestling All Gimmicks Needed, $5. 5 all the way. A tremendous show, just great fun, something that you can enjoy, something that brings us back to a simpler time in wrestling where you didn't have convoluted storylines all the way. I understand there were convoluted gimmicks. However, it was just fun. Everything about the show was just fun. And it comes through on the screen. When guys are having fun, it comes through on your screen, comes through on your DVD. The highlights of the night were Eric Thompson and Drag all night doing the commentary, doing the ring announcing with his Mickey Mouse voice because they told him to talk sexy. At the intermission, a little kid came over to the counter, talked with Marty DeRosa and Colt Cabana, knew the Colt Cabana theme song. It was the most adorable thing ever. Great match. The Burke County Boys shine. Freight Train shine. Jake Manning, Jeff Hart. The guys, One Horn Liger, American Idiot, Samoa Joe, Storm Maverick. I mean, guys all over the show are putting in the work to make their matches better and better. And I think the next $5 Wrestling, whether it be Straight Outta Compton 2 or whatever they decide, we're just going to see them continue to evolve and continue to give us a quality, fun entertainment that wrestling should be about. But basically, that's all I have to say about this. My name is George Coles, and this has been a Heel Heat Review.